tall ships and tall kings, 3 times 3. What brought they from the foundered land over the flowing sea? 7 stars and 7 stones, and 1 white tree. The Palantiri, also known as the Seeing Stones, are ancient artifacts from Middle-earth, created during the time of the Eldar, or High Elves, and later used by various peoples, including the Dunedain and the rulers of Gondor. These stones were crafted by Fëanor, one of the most gifted and tragic of the elves, in the ancient realm of Valinor during the First Age. The Palantiri were powerful tools of communication and far-seeing, allowing their users to communicate across vast distances or to perceive events in faraway lands. The word Palantir itself translates to far-seer, or that which looks far away, perfectly encapsulating their purpose and capabilities. The history of the Palantiri is tied closely to the fate of Númenor, the island kingdom of the Dunedain. After Númenor's fall in the Second Age, a few of the Palantiri were salvaged and brought to Middle-earth by the faithful, who were led by Elendil. Elendil and his sons, Isildur and Anarion, were the survivors of Númenor's destruction and the founders of the kingdoms of Arnor and Gondor. 7 Palantiri were brought to these lands, and they became an essential part of the infrastructure of communication between the two kingdoms. In the north, the Palantiri were installed in strategic places like Amon Sul, Weathertop, and the fortress of Annúminas, while in Gondor, they were placed in locations such as Minas Anor, later Minas Tirith, Minas Ithil, later Minas Morgul, and Orthanc, the Tower of Isengard. Each Palantir could communicate only with another stone, and the strength of vision depended on the user's willpower and mental strength. However, using a Palantir was not without risk. Those with greater strength of mind could dominate weaker users, and the stone's use could be influenced by evil, as happened later in the Third Age. The Palantiri were essential tools for the realms of Arnor and Gondor, but over time, as both realms fell into decline, the knowledge of how to use them safely diminished. The most famous moment in their history comes during the War of the Ring. By this time, many of the stones had been lost. The Palantir of Minas Ithil was captured by Sauron when the city fell to his forces and became Minas Morgul. Sauron then used it to manipulate other users. Saruman, the leader of the Order of Wizards, found the Palantir of Orthanc, which he used in his plans to challenge Sauron, but ultimately fell victim to Sauron's overwhelming will and influence through his own Palantir. Saruman's ambition and curiosity led him to make contact with Sauron through the stones, believing he could manipulate the Dark Lord. However, Saruman underestimated Sauron's power and was corrupted, leading to his eventual downfall. Perhaps the most notable user of the Palantiri during this time was Aragorn, the heir of Isildur. During the events of The Lord of the Rings, Aragorn took up the Palantir of Orthanc after Saruman's defeat. In a bold move, he revealed himself to Sauron through the stone, asserting his claim to the throne of Gondor and throwing Sauron into a state of doubt and confusion. This act of defiance was a critical moment, as it caused Sauron to hasten his plans, mistakenly believing that Aragorn had obtained the One Ring. Aragorn's use of the Palantir also demonstrated his incredible strength of will, as he was able to wrest control of the stone from Sauron, something that very few individuals could achieve. Gondor's primary Palantir was in Minas Tirith, kept in the White Tower, but by the time of the War of the Ring, its use had been abandoned. Denethor II, the steward of Gondor, had secretly begun to use it, and like Saruman, he fell victim to Sauron's influence. Denethor, believing the visions of doom and despair shown to him by the Palantir, became consumed by hopelessness. This manipulation by Sauron contributed to Denethor's eventual madness and tragic death during the siege of Minas Tirith. The Palantiri represent a blend of power and peril. While they were created for good and could be used for communication and strategic advantage, their vulnerability to domination by a more powerful mind, especially one as evil as Sauron's, made them dangerous tools. Their fall into misuse and corruption mirrors the larger themes of Tolkien's work, where power, especially power that is not fully understood or respected, can lead to destruction. By the end of The Lord of the Rings, only a few of the Palantiri remain. The fate of some, like the one in Minas Ithil, is grim, while others, like the one in Orthanc, are still functional but dangerous. The Seeing Stone in Minas Tirith is left in a state where only someone with great strength of mind, like Aragorn, could use it without being overwhelmed by its dark visions. These ancient artifacts, once symbols of the greatness of the Eldar and Númenórean realms, had become twisted tools of manipulation in the hands of Sauron and his followers. Despite this, their history is a testament to the immense power and wisdom of the early peoples of Middle-earth, as well as a reminder of the dangers of overreaching ambition. That concludes our history into the Palantiri. Until next time, be wary to who watches from the shadows. The vault is now closed.